Good morning, students. Let us continue with the lesson Physical Features of India. In the previous video, we had learnt about the Peninsular Plateau region, isn't it? We had learnt about the two divisions of Peninsular Plateau region, that is, Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. Let us continue now. Today, we are going to learn about Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Okay, so Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats, you can have a look over here, students, in this map. Here we have the Western Ghats towards the west, and towards the east we have the Eastern Ghats. Is that clear, students? Both Western and Eastern Ghats lies west and east of the Deccan Plateau respectively. Here you can see the Deccan Plateau, isn't it, students? So to the west of Deccan Plateau we have the Western Ghats, and to the east of the Deccan Plateau we have the Eastern Ghats. Is that clear? Western Ghats are continuous and can be crossed through passes only. So Western Ghats are continuous, okay, and they can be crossed through passes only. Passes means route through a mountain range. Western Ghats are higher than Eastern Ghats. So height wise, if you see, Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Average elevation of Western Ghats is 900 to 1600 meter. You need to remember this, students. Height of Western Ghats, that is the average elevation, is 900 to 1600 meter. Here you can see Western Ghats are continuous. Okay. This is the image of Western Ghats. Western Ghats cause orographic rain by facing the rain-bearing moist winds to rise along the western slopes of the Ghats. Now let us try to understand how does Western Ghats cause orographic rain. Have a look at this diagram, students. Here, the mountain act as a barrier to airflow, forcing the moist air to rise. It gets cooled, clouds are formed, and finally results in precipitation in the form of rain. I hope you have understood about the orographic rain. Height of the Western Ghats progressively increases from north to south. Highest peak is Anaimudi. You need to remember this. It is asked in maths the following. Highest peak is Anaimudi, 2695 meter, and Doda Betta is 2637 meter. So you need to remember this, students. Highest peak of Western Ghats, Anaimudi, it is 2695 meter, and Doda Betta 2637 meter. This is the image of Anaimudi. You can see Anaimudi peak here. This is the image of Doda Betta. Now let us learn about the Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats are discontinuous. They are not continuous like Western Ghats. Eastern Ghats are irregular and dissected by rivers. Why are Eastern Ghats irregular? Because the four major rivers flow in Eastern Ghats, making it irregular at various places. And it is dissected by rivers. Dissected means divided or separated. Okay. Average elevation of Eastern Ghats is 600 meters. So average elevation, if you see, it is 600 meters. The Eastern Ghats stretch from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiris in the south. Now let us have a look at this map. Here you can see the Eastern Ghats, right? They are not continuous. Isn't it, students? They are dissected by the rivers. Highest peak of Eastern Ghats is Mahendragiri. You need to remember this. Highest peak of Eastern Ghats is Mahendragiri, and its elevation is 1501 meter. Shevarai Hills and the Javadi Hills are located to the southeast of Eastern Ghats. The famous hill stations of Udagamandalam, popularly known as Ooty and the Kodaikanal. Let us have a look. This is the image of Mahendragiri, the highest peak of Eastern Ghats. This is the image of Shevarai Hills. Here is the image of Javadi Hills. Now let us see the hill stations here. Ooty and Kodaikanal. Now let us learn about the Indian desert. The Indian desert lies towards the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. The Indian desert is covered with sand dunes. What do you mean by sand dunes? Sand dunes means large masses of wind blown sand. How is the climate here? It is arid, that means dry, with low vegetation. Here, the vegetation is quite low because of scanty rainfall and arid climate. Let us look at this map. Here you can see the Aravalli range, isn't it? Towards the west of Aravalli we have the Thar desert, that is Indian desert. Here is the image of the desert. Streams appear during the rainy season. Soon after they disappear. Students, why do they disappear? Because they do not have enough water to reach the sea. You need to remember this. Streams disappear into the sand as they do not have enough water to reach the sea. Luni is the only large river in this region. Okay, let us have a look. Here you can see river Luni. It is the only river in Rajasthan. Here is the image of river Luni. Now let us learn about barkhans. Barkhans, that is crescent shaped dunes. Crescent means curved shape. Here in this image you can see barkhans. Curved shape image. Isn't it? You can see here, students. Crescent shape. So these crescent shaped sand dunes are called barkhans. Longitudinal dunes become more prominent near the Indo-Pakistan boundary. Okay, so what do you mean by longitudinal dunes? Longitudinal dunes are long and thin. Okay, they are elongated. So what did we learn? Barkhans, that is crescent shaped dunes, cover larger areas of the desert region, but longitudinal dunes become more prominent near the Indo-Pakistan boundary. Indo-Pakistan boundary is the international border running between Pakistan and India. Students, if you visit Jaisalmer, you can see group of barkhans. So I hope you have understood about the barkhans and the longitudinal dunes. Here is the image of barkhans and this is the image of longitudinal dunes. Now let us learn about the western coastal plain and the eastern coastal plain. Here you can see on this map the western coastal plain as well as the eastern coastal plain. First, let us begin with western coastal plains. The western coast is sandwiched between the Western Ghats and Arabian Sea. Western coastal plains are narrow. So, we will understand this with the help of a map. You can see here the western coastal plain. It is sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea. Is that clear, students? Once again, the western coastal plain is sandwiched between the Western Ghats and the Arabian Sea. I hope it is clear. And they are narrow. They are not wider, they are narrow. Now let us learn more about the western coastal plain. Western coastal plain consists of three sections. You need to remember this, students. Western coastal plain consists of three sections: the northern part, the central stretch and the southern stretch. The northern part is called as the Konkan, the central stretch is called as the Kannad plain and the southern stretch is called as the Malabar coast. So you need to remember this. It may be asked for the objectives. Have a look at this map. You will understand much better. Here you can see the Konkan coast to the north of the western coastal plain. At the center you can see the Kannad coast, and towards the south of western coastal plain you can see the Malabar coast. Is that clear, students? Konkan coast, Kannad coast and Malabar coast. You need to remember this. Now let us learn about the eastern coastal plains. The plains along the Bay of Bengal. So eastern coastal plains lie along the Bay of Bengal. They are wide. So if we compare eastern coastal plains with western coastal plains, okay, eastern coastal plains are wider, whereas the western coastal plains are narrow. You need to remember this. Okay. So in the northern part of the eastern coastal plains, we have the northern Sircar. You need to remember this. In the northern part of the eastern coastal plain, we have the northern Sircar, and in the southern part we have the Coromandel coast. Have a look at this map. You will understand much better. Here you can see the northern Sircar in the north of the eastern coastal plain, and towards the south of the eastern coastal plain you have Coromandel coast. Is that clear, students? The Mahanadi, Godavari, the Krishna and Kaveri formed extensive delta on this coast. Here in this image you can see delta. What is delta, students? You have learned this earlier also. Delta is an area of land at the mouth of river formed by the deposition of sediments carried by the rivers. The Mahanadi, Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri formed extensive delta on this coast. Have a look at this map, students. You will understand much better. Here you can see the river Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. They form deltas on this coast, that is eastern coast. I hope it is clear. This is the image of Lake Chilka. What do you know about Lake Chilka? Yes, you are right. Lake Chilka is the largest saltwater lake in India. Understood? Lake Chilka is an important feature along the eastern coast. So students, I hope you have understood about the western coastal plain as well as the eastern coastal plain. Now let us learn about the islands. We have Lakshadweep Islands as well as the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. First, let us learn about the Lakshadweep Islands. Here is the image of the Lakshadweep Islands. Isn't it beautiful, students? The Lakshadweep Islands are close to the coast of Kerala. They are composed of small coral islands. So let us learn about the corals now. Okay. Coral polyps are short-lived microscopic organisms. So coral polyps, they are the short-lived microscopic organisms which live in colonies. They flourish in shallow, mud-free and warm waters. And what do they secrete? They secrete calcium carbonate. The coral secretion and their skeletons form coral deposits in the form of reefs, and thus coral islands are formed. You can see here the image of the coral reef. Isn't it beautiful, students? Earlier, Lakshadweep Islands were known as Lakadiv, Minicoy and Amandiv. Earlier, the Lakshadweep Islands were known as Lakadiv, Minicoy and Amandiv. Then, in the year later on in the year 1973, these were named as Lakshadweep. So you need to remember this year, students. In 1973, these were named as Lakshadweep. Earlier, it was known as Lakadiv, Minicoy and Amandiv. Lakshadweep covers a small area of 32 square kilometer. You need to remember this. Kavaratti Island is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. You need to remember this as well. Kavaratti Island is the administrative headquarters of Lakshadweep. Here in this image you can see the Kavaratti Island. You can find great diversity of flora and fauna. Various types of plants and animals you can find in Lakshadweep Islands. The Piti Island is uninhabited. Uninhabited means no one lives over there. But we have bird sanctuary over there. Okay, have a look at this Piti Island here. We have bird sanctuary in Piti Island for the protection of the birds. Now let us learn about the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The elongated chain of islands located in the Bay of Bengal, extending from north to south. Okay, these are the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. They are located in the Bay of Bengal, extending from north to south. They are bigger in size, more numerous, and they are scattered. Have a look over here, students. You will understand that this entire island is divided into two. That is the Andaman in the north and the Nicobar in the south. An elevated portion of submerged mountains. Students, it is believed that Andaman and Nicobar Islands, okay, they are elevated portion of submerged mountains. Here in this map you can see the Andaman Islands in the north and the Nicobar Islands in the south. Is that clear, students? They are numerous and they are scattered. Great diversity of flora and fauna. Even in Andaman Nicobar Islands, we can see varieties of plants and animals. As they are close to equator, they experience equatorial climate. Equatorial climate wherein you have humidity and you have high rainfall. Andaman Nicobar Islands experience equatorial climate and has thick forest cover. Here in this image you can see thick forest cover. So we can conclude that the mountains are the major sources of water and forest wealth. Okay, here the mountains resemble the northern mountains. The northern plains are the granaries of the country. Now, what do you mean by granaries? Granaries means storehouse of grains. And why is northern plains called granaries of the country? Yes, because plenty of food crops are grown due to the presence of alluvial soil as well as availability of water. And what about the plateau region? The plateau is a storehouse of minerals. So, let us understand with the help of this map. The northern mountains are the major source of water and forest resource. Okay, and the northern plains are called as granaries, and the plateau region is storehouse of minerals. Is that clear, students? The coastal and island groups provide sites for fishing and port activities. So, what is the importance of coastal and island groups? Yes, they provide sites for fishing. These coastal plains and the islands, they provide sites for fishing and port activities. I hope it is clear, students. Thus, the diverse physical features of the land have immense future possibilities of development. So, there are a lot of future possibilities for the development of our country. So, I hope it is clear, students. I hope you have understood about the Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands as well as the importance of all the physical features of our country. Now, it's quiz time. The highest peak in the Eastern Ghats is option A, Annaimudi, option B, Kanchenjunga, option C, Mahendragiri, option D, Khalsi. And the correct option is option C, Mahendragiri. The highest peak in the Eastern Ghats is Mahendragiri. Next question. The Lakshadweep Islands covers a small area of option A 32 square kilometer, option B 49 square kilometer, option C 20 square kilometer, option D 19 square kilometer. And the correct answer is 32 square kilometer. The Lakshadweep Islands covers a small area of 32 square kilometer. Next question. Which islands of India are called coral islands? Option A, Lakshadweep. Option B, Andaman and Nicobar. Option C, both. Option D, none of these. And the correct answer is option A, Lakshadweep. So, Lakshadweep Islands of India are called coral islands. Now, let us do the recap. Today in this video we have learnt about the Western and Eastern Ghats, the Indian desert, Western coastal plains and Eastern coastal plains as well as the islands, that is the Lakshadweep Islands and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. I hope you have understood all the topics covered today. So in the next video we will start with the next chapter. Till then, bye and take care.